Big Jim Edwards at 649 at CKLW. How would you like to go out and buy cigarettes and wind up with $1,000?
We had tubes in radios where there was five tube super heterodyne radio. Now all of a sudden we had these 6 transistor radios, and it really opened up a whole new era because radio became portable.
But it connected an entire generation. The transistor radio connected an entire generation through the art of radio.
That's Keener Gold from Detroit's Own Temptations, and baby, you better get ready. 744 with John McRae.
It started really with Stevie Wonder. Little Stevie Wonder, the Temptations. Motown was gigantic. It was absolutely huge.
That's the reason why, they've got so many different labels in Motown, like the Motown label, the Gordy label, and the Tamla label, and the Soul label. Because it used to be back in the day, I think you could only play 2 songs from one label per hour. They had so many hits, so they just, came up with these other new labels to make sure that they got like 5 or 6 songs played each hour on the radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles are at Olympia.
New album out by the Beatles, as you know, Rubber Soul. A lot of good songs on here. I think one of the best. And this one has shown up in the top 3+1 voting nightly.
The Beatles actually made radio. The Beatles made people listen to the radio longer because everybody was waiting for the next Beatles song to come on.
I really don't think anybody can understand how everything changed when the Beatles came along. And in the 6 years they were together, 5 if you really look at it, set the tone for what was to come in the future, changed the world musically, no question about it in my mind.
Hear it all and have a ball with CKLW Radio 80.
There was a station over in Windsor called CKLW. This station was and remains a legendary radio. You could drive up and down Woodward Avenue and you could hear that station coming out of every car.
CKLW radio was becoming a big factor in top 40 music, calling themselves the Big 8, and they were considered to be one of the top 5 most powerful, not only in signal, but in influence stations in the country.
Another deadly duo of Detroit dastardly deeds as the dice decreed death. A disagreement over 7-11. Now she's in heaven. The man who delivered that double-barreled death with his package of penetrating pellets has been pounced in the pen.
Must have been my second or third day on the job. I'm in the newsroom. I'm typing up something, and we had a coffee machine in the newsroom. And here comes this guy walking in and says, "Can I get coffee somewhere?" I said, "Oh yeah, right here." And I look up, and it's Tony Bennett. I said, "Oh," because everybody who was anybody would come through town, and they would stop in at WJR to be interviewed by J.P. McCarthy.
Some people can get titillated listening to you talk about sexual things. There's no question about it. I believe maybe that's why they get interested in
I
you.
don't think so.
And then learn something and realize that they were learning something.
JP, I have to tell you something. If they would get sexually aroused, which they don't because I'm 4'7", I'm, as the New York Times says, Grandma Freud.
He loved learning and then sharing that with us, his listeners. He was inquisitive, and he wasn't afraid to talk to anybody, and he talked to everybody pretty much the same way.
JP was somebody that my mom and dad would listen to in the morning. I can remember waking up and smelling coffee and hearing JP McCarthy on the radio. And it was because my mom and dad were listeners religiously every day.
This is WJR, the Goodwill Station, Detroit.
He swings a line shot, base hit, right field, the Tigers win it. Here comes K-Line to score, and it's all over. Downward singles, the Tigers mob Don. K-Line has scored, the fans are streaming on the field.
Baseball is almost perfect for radio because the pace. You turn it on in the background and you wait for Ernie's voice to get excited, or Dan Dickerson now, or whoever it might be. And then you turn it up and listen and hear what's going on, turn it back down, go back about what you're doing, driving around town with the windows down, listening to the ball game. And I think that baseball was literally made for radio.
I think personally Ernie is the greatest guy, broadcaster / everything put together that I ever knew. What a gentleman, what a talent, what an incredible voice, what a human being. He was everything. He was the best of everything. I don't know, you could be better in any way than Ernie Harwell.